Clear that I've been against the image. I mean, I've been against the icon.
The monumentalization.
Yeah.
I mean, the monumentalization.
The monumentalization. So, sorry. Yes. And what is
monumentalization? I asked.
What is the question about monumentalization? Whether it should or not be within.
What do you think about monumentalization?
What I think about monumentalization. Well, I think it can be very beautiful, as it has always been throughout history. I mean, from the pyramids of Egypt to the Acropolis and the monuments of ancient Greece to the Gothic cathedrals in medieval towns, to the Renaissance palaces, to New York and Chicago. I think there's nothing as beautiful as monumental buildings.
Thank you.
I think that they just carry within them their beauty if they are well designed. I mean, just think of the history of architecture.
Exactly, it wasn't the question, but
No,
just
so
like that.
Yeah.
The question was about the ideal of an image in the heads of the people.
You mean the general public?
Yes.
I think that this is a very important question, because I think that education, and I don't mean by architectural education, I mean a general education at school, is very much responsible for not teaching the questions of the environment and of the built world, and including architecture. They teach a little bit about art, as far as I know, but architecture is left out.
Thank you.
I think the general public finds it very difficult to formulate ideas other than what they see in their daily life. But if certain principles were taught in general education, I think the public would have. The public, I think, still is a victim. The real victim is the general public, but they cannot consciously articulate why. As you can see, that they escape from the city if they can. If they earn enough money, they will escape from the city and they will buy a villa, pollute the countryside, and build it outside the city.
But how the city would escape from the society? And that's a question too.
How the city can escape from society?
And the human being of destruction.
On the contrary, the city must kind of be founded on, I mean, without its population and without its density, the city cannot have human intercourse. I mean, the place for human intercourse is the city. It has always been. Outside the city, one is isolated into one's private world. And one doesn't have any interface with one's own co-citizens. We can't call ourselves citizens anymore. Citoyen.
My name is Jane. It's something that happens in the last period in the cities where the modern city looks like it's becoming a victim of the consuming of the space. So we see that many cities are becoming kind of a bunch of buildings, and the public space, which is actually the essence of the existence of the city, is losing the importance. So
there's a current problem here in Skopje right now.
Yeah. So how to find the balance between those two? What to do?
Politics. It's in the hands of the politicians. Demonstrations. you know, really general public resistance. Public resistance, in the end, they can give up with it. Go back, go again, go every week, you know, make it more and more difficult.
So, Professor, thank you very much for your lecture. This is the second time I can hear your lecture. The first one was, I could say, critical. And now you come to an extreme point of being critical about the development of the Western city. Then the image that we see, I mean, the final image of your lecture is a landscape somewhere, and then you have these volumes, white volumes or white cubes, that are very abstract, but on the other hand, one can perceive
they're like
these
white canvases.
Yeah.
Ready. I mean, this is an image by Dogma.
Yeah, but I can also understand this image not as white cube, but only also as a absence of anything in this image. It's really a white, empty canvas that is basically reduced from the wholenessness of image. So, is this a potential strategy for a future of European city, the technique or the idea of erasure?
Well, if you like, kind of at that scale, any building will look as having no features, unless the architect begins to force features on it. And as such, it would. I mean, at the moment, this is, if you like, a painterly beauty. You know, it's an enigmatic beauty. I haven't solved it. It's too premature to imagine. It could be horrible, but it could also be heavenly. You know.
But can you see it as existing as a strategy only to let it like it is, completely white and empty?
With people living inside? Well, yeah, that would be very nice. But this is really gigantic. I mean, you'd have, in order to support it. But anyway, yes, I mean, I think as propaganda, yes, as agitprop.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have another question. I have another question because he asked if this is a possible solution, the erasure of space. But like you were talking about individualism and how fashionable it has become in today's world. And it's a pushed thought, I think. Because like if people are persuaded they're all individuals and individualism becomes a fashion, then it's easier to govern them. You know, the rule, separate and then rule. Mm-hmm. And this whole aesthetics allure of consumption and fashion. So you like, we can, I think, it's not so much a question, but I think it's just a thought that we can think of solutions and we can predict how it can go. But I think that at the end it's going to happen what you said, like at the 11th hour, because it's all about social evolution of the human. That's how the political changes become. Yeah. And it's all like a circle, right? Yeah. Connected all to each other. And for this to happen, I think that the human needs to be pushed in extreme conditions, in an extreme situation. Yeah.
That's human nature, yes.
Yeah, so I think that like individuals can think of solutions and possible ways to go, but in the end, it's gonna be the extreme condition.
Yeah, but I agree with you entirely. But I think that in the meantime, architects your age should begin to think about I mean, should visualize possible scenarios. I mean, this might not be one, but this might be superseded by others, you know. But I think that this kind of apocalyptic day, when humanity will be forced to take the last step of survival, it would be good if architects somehow are ready to say, "Hey, we have solutions." Yeah. It may happen in your lifetime. The way we're going.